Good evening. Hello, Kimberly. How are you doing this evening? I made it. I had a busy day, so it was like, eh. Anyway, our weather's been kind of dreary today and kind of dreary and cold and anyway. All right. Let me see if I can pronounce your name. G Janik. You're from Turkey. Hi, Debbie Sue. Miss Paula, how are you doing this evening? I just quickly watched your little eyeglass thing. I like the glasses, especially the red ones. They're my fave too. All right, I have to adjust my screen to where I'm not bending way over there to see all the comments. I get them right here in front of me. Okay. So hello. How's everyone doing this evening? Paula, I tried on some red ones. They were big like that when my husband was getting glasses. And it was like, ooh, I really like these. And he was going, oh, those are a little big. Hi, Cheryl. How are you doing, Cheryl? So, anyway, I did like the red ones. So, welcome in, everybody. We're going to talk about a brain hack tonight. What do y'all think about that? So, um, anyway, I'm watching the chat. I get distracted. Ooh, shiny. So, I have to tell y'all that yesterday I went to Fort Worth to the historical stockyards in Fort Worth, and I stomped around all over the place with Nancy, and her channel's name is Making My Own Lane. We had a great time. I got to show her all the sights and sounds of the stockyards because we go down there all the time, and so it was fun to do that, to meet another real live YouTube person. She's was traveling from Florida, going across to Arizona, then she's going up north. She is her channel is about living in an RV solo, and boy, I admire her. What an inspiration that she does that. Of course, my husband and I, we have an RV and we go out. So that's the reason I kind of, I watch a few of those channels, but I just kind of really liked hers because she's um, a seasoned woman. So, hi, Kristen. How are you doing? You're not going to chat much because you're on your phone. Okay. Have you put out any more videos? I keep waiting to get pinged that you've put out another video. So, well, what we're going to talk about tonight is a brain hack. Yes, Kimberly, a brain hack. And some of you may have heard about this. You've all used it. You will recognize that you have used this little brain hack. So Paula says she needs a brain hack. Hi, Rosani. How are you this evening? Is Pam here? Hello, Pam. I am doing great this evening. I was exhausted when I got home last night. We walked 5 miles yesterday. My watch told me so. It was going, what's going on? What's going on? I walk a mile when I walk, but 5 miles. So, hi, Peter. You doing all right? Hi, Mike. Wow. Catherine's here. Hi, Catherine. She lives in Arkansas. I lived in Arkansas for a while. So, Rosani said she's doing good. Kristen said, LOL, I'm on my way home to record another and try out Canva as an editor. Okay. Simply just Krista's here. Hello. Thank you. I did reach that 1K mark on Saturday about 2:30. It was kind of one of those moments because, I just, there you have those days that the last video I posted, I don't know, on Friday, it just got really low views, and it was like, you work really hard on a video and you post it, and then it doesn't do real well, and I got a little discouraged. So, um, hi, Lori. Peter says, I admit I'm following Simply Debbie Sue around the lives tonight. I've done that before, Peter. We go live hopping. She just really does seem to be in the know about lives. Simply just Krista said, I just popped in to say hello and going to dash. I'm working on a few videos. Have a great live, Rhonda. Good night, all. Thank you so much, Krista. There's Sandra. Hi, Sandra. I was on one of her lives here recently. So my time's been somewhat limited lately. But anyway, just kind of that hitting that 1K mark. So the rest of the story is I thought, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I just need to quit, same old thing we always talk about. And I got my coffee and I come in here and I sit down and, of course, open the YouTube, and there's Mrs. G with a video about wanting to quit. I thought, oh no. So I watched her video and I made a comment. Then Paula texted me a really nice message about my content and all of that. And it was like, so then Mrs. G texted me later and said that that's right, Peter. Peter says, Rhonda, when you post a video, ask yourself one question. Am I happy with this video? If the answer is yes, the numbers will catch up. And if the answer is no, you can notice which part to improve. Well, I was happy with the video. I thought it was really pretty good. But there are just times to where you just, I don't know, seems like in life, things happen and it just hits you just a certain way. And, I was probably tired. And, if I have expectations, that's where I always get in trouble. Of course, the video did take off and has done really well. But, and as far as the numbers, I've always done pretty well with the numbers because I think about, if I was at a conference and there were 900 people there, I would think, wow, no, I'm speaking in front of 900 people. But, I got 992 subscribers, and that wasn't the thing. I don't really know. You're right, Peter. I am a big pusher of that. Peter said, my last video, if you change your perception, you can change your reality. That's true. I think it starts with your belief system. If you can change what you believe, you can change anything. So, but that's not my topic tonight. My topic is about um, how to use your reticular activation system, activating system. And maybe some of y'all have heard about this, but it is a part of your brain, and it's part of your nervous system, and it regulates your arousal. Is the description. Now, I'm not talking about arousal. I'm just talking about what you tend to uh, focus on. And I know that all of you have had damaged RAS, and I'm gonna, describe that. It's like you're getting ready for work and you're rushing around, you're ready to eat the lunch, and you run out the door and you get in the car and you drive off and you drive to work and you get there and you turn the car off and you're sitting there thinking, I don't remember driving here. Well, when you're stressed out and you're hyped up, this reticular activating system is damaged. And so you don't remember driving there. And then the flip side of that is if you're really, like, all right, you're in the present moment and you've got, your faculties, you're not stressed, and you start thinking about you want to buy a new SUV of a certain type. And, so you start thinking about this vehicle and you look at it online and everything. And you think, well, I don't see too many of these. And then you're just going about your life, running your errands. And guess what you begin to see? That SUV everywhere. Well, what you've done is you have activated your reticular activating system. But the thing to do is you can learn to use this to, like bring opportunities and to spot certain things. And it's kind of like, if you're say you go to a gathering and everybody's talking and it's loud and somebody calls your name, you can hear it through all of that static. Well, that's the kind of way your brain is. And this zeroes in on your conscious thought, your loudest conscious thought. Now, you if you consciously do negative self-talk, think negative things, have negative beliefs, then you're going to find evidence for that stuff because of your RAS. You will find evidence to support those negative thoughts and that negative self-talk. And it tends to set that off. But also the opposite is true. And this is why, when we work with people, we suggest that they do like positive affirmations, but you also have to do the work to look for the evidence. You take the belief and you challenge it. Is this true? And if it's, you know, is this true? I can, have a very articulate, educated, professional person, and I'm working with them, and they're telling me that, they're stupid. They do this stupid stuff, or they're stupid. And I'm like, well, is that true? Well, I think I'm stupid. Well, do you have a college degree? Well, yeah. Don't you have a professional job? Well, yeah. Well, I don't think that someone, and I really dislike people calling themselves stupid. And I really try to challenge that statement. But there's many others. They can be, just you get up just like I did on Saturday. I'm like, man, this is, takes too much time, and it's I'm quitting or whatever. Well, Is it true what I'm telling myself? No, you know. Um, then nothing ever works out for me is another uh, statement. And these are rooted in your beliefs. And you can, I don't know if any of y'all have heard of, let me see, I got notes everywhere. Byron Katie, she's the one that has these questions. So let me get um, into the chat a little bit. Hit the like button. Yes, everyone. Oh, you're right, Paula. God had my community lined up to encourage me. Well, that's not the whole story. Miss G texted me and told me that Red's um, Red's Room TV, I think is his name, that he goes live on Saturday afternoons, and that he promotes channels, and if I would go on there, and so I did, and he put my channel up just like a business card on his channel, talked about my channel and stuff, and then he asked me some questions, and I put in the chat, well, I have 992 subscribers, and he said, well, let's get this girl to a 1,000 subscribers. And I mean, it just, a lot of his people that were on there went over, checked out my channel. And by 2:30, I hit 1,000 subscribers. I had 1,003. Today I have 1,048 subscribers. And just really was like, but, that was, and then Evie hit 1,000 subscribers that day too. And I think Debbie Sue, when did you get 1,000 subscribers? We just all, neck and neck. Peter said the world is not good. The world is not a good place or bad place. It is simply how you view things. You're right. It's all relative. Peter asked dopamines. The reticular activating system kicks off norepinephrine, acetylcholine, serotonin, dopamine, and histamine. And these all work together, dopamines. And I know that you can dull your RAS, if you like doom scrolling and all of that. That's a dopamine hit, and it just kind of dulls that. So Peter said that happened to me once. I went to a shopping mall and said to my wife, I didn't remember driving here. She sighed and said, we got the bus, genius. Oh, Kristen said, I heard of you write down your notes. You can activate your RAS. You can activate it. So there's a lot of ways to do this. You can say, like, to fine tune it. Now, I know that Mel Robbins talks about this, and she talks about looking for heart-shaped rocks. And I was just like, whoa, I've done that for years. And so I've collected heart-shaped rocks. So Rosani said, yes, I hadn't realized that is what it's called, but that I definitely experience it. We all do. Peter said to Kristen, yes, psychology has shown that when we write things down, it helps us to remember it better than just listening to something. That's true. I take notes on a lot of stuff. Catherine said, negative self-talk. My hubby catches me every time. Yeah. Peter said, Adam Rowe did an amazing poem called Treat Yourself Like Someone You Love. That's amazing. I like that. I'll have to look that up. Yay. Sandra said, yay. Congratulations, Rhonda. I'm so happy for you. Debbie said she got 1K around February 17th. Well, congratulations, Debbie. Yes. Rosani got little happy smiley faces. Allison. Hi, Allison. How are you doing? Um, Pam said, I was so excited to hear that Rhonda hit 1K. Thank you, Pam. We're saying hi to Allison. Lori said, love finding heart-shaped rocks. Yes, I've collected heart-shaped rocks for 35 years, Lori. I want to show this one. These are just a couple. I have them all sizes. I have a huge one that I found at a lake and had to carry it out hiking with it. So, and these are a couple of my favorites, but I have a whole bunch of them. But I picked out a couple of my favorite ones because, you know, um, and every time I find one, to me, it's God telling me that He loves me. I know He loves me, but I have some really great ones. And these are a couple of my favorites. So I have a whole bunch of them. I have a big one. That big one I carried out. So, all right. Let's see. Let me see. The source. Hey, Doran, how are you doing? Over there in Hawaii. Aloha. Peter said, I love Heart podcast was the first podcast of Mel Robbins I listened to. And 2 minutes later, I found a love heart shaped shadow. LOL. That's right. See them everywhere. I've had clouds, heart shaped clouds, heart shaped this and that. But in the 2 years ago, I was doing some work on trying to have some things come to fruition and some manifestation and prayer and stuff. And in one of the things was that you pick a symbol, something that you will see to activate your reticular activating system. So you're fine tuning it so that you draw whatever it is. And I was wanting to sell my commercial property. And so I thought my first car, I got married when I was 18, and the first car I had when I was married was a little red Volkswagen Beetle, and it was a standard. I love that little car, love driving that thing. And so I thought, you don't see them a whole lot anymore. I'm going to pick a Volkswagen Beetle as my um, sign to activate this system so that I become more aware of opportunities to sell my commercial property. I see those things everywhere, everywhere. I have people that know this send me pictures of Volkswagens. And of course I have, where's my yellow one? I've got one. My husband brought me one. There it is. And then stories about this is this little green one my son painted in grade school, my oldest son. And I was cleaning out stuff and I found this one. But one of my favorite stories about the Volkswagens, and this happened, I don't know, about 4 months ago when I was at my son's. I was babysitting my grandson, and we played Matchbox cars and all of that sort of stuff. And so the next day he wanted to get some new ones. And he asked his dad if he could go up and, up the stairs and where they store stuff and get in his box of his extra, cars. And he went up there. He come back with 5 cars and he said, here, Granny, I picked this one for you. And it was a Volkswagen Beetle. Where is it? I kept it in the package. Isn't it cute? And I looked at it and I said, well, of course you did. And I told my son the story. And my son said, Mom, I bet there's 100 of those in that box up there. He just would get all these at Christmas and stuff. And, we cycle them out. And he picked that one and brought that one to you. I said, yes, that's how it works. That's a synchronicity. So this is a tool that you can absolutely activate. And so, and of course, all of y'all, I'm a woman of faith. I'm a Christian, and that I think that God brings those things. But this is a neuroscience hack to fine tune your cognitive functionings. So if you can focus on positive things, like I've said, I'm gonna look, I'm gonna, you know, do feathers instead of heart shaped rocks, or I'm gonna do uh, turtles, or I like to challenge it sometimes, and it's amazing. I'll think, well, I don't see any Volkswagens today. I'm not going anywhere, and I will see three, either TV, commercial. Tracy's got a yellow Volkswagen Beetle uh, that's from California. It's like I've just really been amazed at that, of how just they're everywhere. So let me catch up in the chat. The source got this running in the BG. Well, thank you. Hi, Evie. Your ears burning. We was talking about you. So, Allison said, a long time ago, our family would play punch buggy, where you love pat the person next to you and see a bug. Slug bug is what we called it. On the way to the hospital in heavy labor, it's the middle of the night. Where's the rest of the story? I'm breathing hard, and my husband sees a bug. Evie said, that game is slug bug, and you state the color. Yes, yes. And it's I don't know. I see them all the time. And there's where the 2 days that I work across the way, there's a hair salon, and somebody that works there drives a yellow one. So, it's sitting there every day. And, uh, so Catherine said, I try to remember to thank the Lord for this day right after I wake up. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Start your day right. So, um, so your RAS responds to what you deem important, and it can be programmed. And you can program it positive, or you can program it negative. It's up to you, because it will search for evidence and you will see it. So if you think that, the other shoe's going to drop, or that this or that, you're going to find evidence of that. And so it's real important. If you want to really fine tune this, you have to be sure that it regulates the sleep wake cycles. And you can also do to reactivate it, fine tune it. It's suggested that you do a 72-day detox from digital stimulation. And what that means is that's the social media that gives you the dopamine hit, like playing games on your phone, TikTok, Reels, fast stuff, all of that sort of stuff, and it to do a detox from that. And I don't do a lot of that. I get on YouTube. I will watch some stuff, but if I ever sit here all day, I'm brain dead, So I'll watch a few things, and then I will get up and go on. So Kristen said, okay, I just read a book about signs and messages from the universe. Cool. Hi, Justin. How are you? Now, is it early morning there? Over there in Australia, good day, mate. So he's saying hello to everybody. Um, so, I think that that's, to me, that is what, to pick something and to fine tune your, this reticular activating system. They call it RAS. Um, this is one of the ways to do it, is to pick a specific thing that maybe means something to you, or and then your brain will begin to fine tune it. um Let me see what else it says. When you do that, you program the brain to notice opportunities and resources aligned with your conscious goals and beliefs. And I think that's why it's real important to challenge your beliefs. What do you believe? I'm too old. I'm too young. I can't do that. I'm not tech savvy. All of those things that we say to ourselves, that, so you're going to find evidence of that. I've probably told myself, I don't know how many times, that, uh, I, I'm not tech savvy. And so I will struggle with technical stuff because I'm seeing evidence. And if I can just look at all the stuff you have learned when it comes to technology, I mean, all of the stuff. So, oh, 11:30 a.m. Thursday. Okay, so it's like late morning. Paula's here. Yes, Justin, Paula's here. Thanks for stopping in. The source. So, these are some things that you can do to use this part of your brain. It's like, comes from the brain stem. But the questions, if you want to challenge beliefs, are: is it true? And then you ask yourself, is it absolutely true? So who am I when I hold on to this belief? And who would I be without this belief? And I think that when I started getting serious about YouTube, there was some beliefs that come up, some negative beliefs that I had to dispel. Like, well, who's going to listen to me? Is my content any good? Oh, they're going to judge me for what I'm saying, or I don't really know enough, and just all of those things. And so there's a lot of those things that I had to overcome, and there it's it's part of you begin to identify. I like to tell people, don't say I am a procrastinator, because then you identify with procrastination, and you will see all the evidence of where you procrastinate. Instead, you say, I have a habit of procrastinating. And who would I be without this belief that I'm a procrastinator? So, and probably the biggest thing people can't move past some of the things in their life. Think, well, this is just the way I am. And if you believe that, then you will always be like that. You have to say, yeah, I do some of those things, but I'm going to change. And that's, when you begin to move out of that. But you activate this part of your brain and, whatever it's like, especially your neurotransmitters being involved in a lot of this, and whatever your brain fires together will wire together. And you have to challenge and question all of that. And I've certainly, since I have retired and having a little more time and not as much distraction, there's been some things I've had to challenge. I really have. So, um, Lori's asking Justin where he's from. Catherine said, good questions to ask. Paula's saying hello to Justin. Justin's telling Lori, hi, Lori. I'm in Brisbane, southeastern Queensland, Australia. Hi, Joshua. So, Evie said, hi, Joshua. And Justin said, you're late. I thought you were Joshua. He is. How are you doing, Joshua? I haven't been in, I've not been a whole lot in lives. Like I said, I've been really busy. I was out of pocket all day yesterday, stomping around the stockyards. I was a tour guide. I took Nancy to Joe T. Garcia's and told her some of the history about that. And then we went to I took her to, told her she needed to see the Dover hotel. That's real fancy hotel that's down there. And then I took her to Billy Bob's, to the world's largest honky tonk. She thought that was pretty cool. She said, man, I wouldn't have seen any of this if you hadn't come met me here. So, Evie said, was it? Justin said, good one you recommend, Evie. And Evie said, yes, Justin, keep that young man on his toes. Kristen's got hearts everywhere. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? Joshua said, I got this unique handheld fan. Hi, Jennifer. Justin said, I agree, Lady Evie. Evie says hi to Jennifer. So, but we're talking about the reticular activating system and how you can use it. Oh, are you loving my animal print? My leopard print? Oh, Lori said, hi, Jennifer. Good to see you again. Hopefully a bit warmer for you. It was warmer here. We had one day was at Saturday. It was 87 degrees. It was 83 yesterday. Today it was only in the 60s. So we've had a little bit of a cool front move through. It's supposed to rain, but minus 12. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine, Jennifer. So, I mean, I watch your videos. It's like, it's just goodness. Well, we're glad you're here. I don't even know how long I've been on. 38 minutes. Evie said, warm and rainy here. Has it started raining there? It hadn't started raining up here. It was just kind of coolish and damp today. Oh, you love this topic of focus. Well, I'm pretty much talked out, Jennifer. I talked about, the reticular. I can't even say it anymore. The RAS. It's where your brain looks for evidence to match your dominant thoughts. And, if your dominant thoughts are negative, you're going to see evidence of negative stuff. And if your dominant thoughts are positive, you're going to see evidence of positive stuff. Yeah, I talk about my Volkswagen things. I've had quite the deal with Volkswagens. And like I said, now people send me um, pictures, or like my husband came home with that yellow Volkswagen. So, yes, and I used to, and I started 35 years ago before uh, mail was even a thing, about collecting heart shaped rocks. So, Jennifer, here's one of them. I got to turn it the right way. That's I picked. I got two of them. I brought two of them in here. There's the other one. I turned them the wrong way. I have some big ones too. I have two fairly big ones, and so um, oh, I have them everywhere. People give me heart shaped rocks all the time too, but um, for about 35 years, and like I said, um, I've always collected rocks, and so I think that if I had, if I'd have known how interested I was in geology, I might have been a geologist instead of a therapist or hairdresser. Because when I took geology in undergrad, I loved it. Loved it. And I think the most interesting part is when I learned that everything moves. The earth, the crust on the earth moves all the time. Now, it takes billions of years to move, but I just, I don't know. So, um, yeah, the brain does love evidence. Yeah, you can watch the replay. So Justin said, I just realized I'm here with three of my four fave girls, no particular order. Goddess Paula, Lady Rhonda, and Buddy Debbie. All we need is for funny Dora to be here. She pops on every once in a while. So, and so Debbie Sue, Justin with a little hearts and a smiley face. Josh was asking Jennifer how she is. And um, yes, Jennifer, I am. I love geology and I love the Rocky Mountains. And, you know, just I collect rocks. And of course, I'm a real outdoors girl. Hey, Red, retired Red. Hello, how are you? So, Jennifer's telling Joshua that she's doing well and asking him how his day was. Retired Red says, Hey, Evie, I'm enjoying your watercolor. Yes. Yes. I don't know if I've watched, she put one out today. The last one, I try to comment on them. So, the last one she did, she was painting the pink flowers, and she read a scripture and a poem, and just it's just really very relaxing to me to watch her paint and hear her talk, and it's just really um really great. So Evie's asking retired Red if her name's Pam. I don't know if you was it, I know it was yesterday. I don't know if you put one out today, Evie. So she said, No, Red is me. Paula said, I'd love to have content that makes me as happy as Evie's painting makes her. Isn't that true? Evie said, Okay, Red, once again, I'm confused. Um, I think Evie has found her calling. It's like the creativity of her doing that has kind of lit her up. I just see it. So it's great. Jennifer's asking Joshua about his fan. Joshua, for decoration or use. I love those handheld fans. They can be quite beautiful. And Jennifer said, Paula, so true. Yes, definitely, Paula said. So, Sandra, yes, Evie, don't be playing with her art. She is so gifted. She is. She is. And it's been amazing to watch her. Evie said, "I understand what my daughter felt with watercolor." Yes. Yeah. I think so, Rosani and I've been talking about how therapeutic art is. And I've got to get back with you, Rosani. I'll do that. I want to send you a empirical evidence based research paper. So, and I was out of pocket all day yesterday. So Paula said, makes me want to create, but I don't know how to do anything. Well, Evie, did you know how to do watercolor when you started? Evidence. Paula, you need to kick in your RAS and find evidence that you can create. So Evie said, no, and I'm learning to draw. I know. It's amazing. Paula, you bring humor and light and joy. She does. She creates humor, light, and joy. And Miss Evie's just really learning a lot of things. Um, I think you can learn to do anything if you just decide you're gonna go after it. So Pam said, Paula, you create joy everywhere. You sure do, Paula. Joshua said, this handheld fan has 12 blades on the inside, Jennifer. So, and I think that um, tapping into something that's creative is very healing, and it's very therapeutic. And you just have to try different things. And I've done a lot of crafty stuff. I've painted with acrylics, and I can crochet and knit and sew, and I've done beadwork, and I don't know, I think it's just different things. But it's um it's just what and I thought, oh, I'll retire and I'll do some of that stuff. And I got some of my beadwork stuff out and cleaned the stuff out, and didn't do anything with it. So I don't know. And I know that stuff's there. I've had paints. I used to do tie-dye t-shirts, and it was like artistic to me. I made a bunch of tie-dye baby stuff. It was so fun. So Pam said, I tried watercolor this week. It was fun, but I don't think I'll be selling them any day soon. So, yes, Pam is here. Red, we have a Pam. Evie said, Paula, I did a pose last night that reminded me of you. You're trying in the book you got says you're trying to draw a self-portrait? So hello, Daryl. How are you doing? You set an alarm, but you got distracted. You're not late. You're never too late. So, um, Sandra said she did that. Jennifer said, I am not a painter, but I love to watch others create. Yes, Evie said, yes, I was in the Tom Thumb parking lot trying out the chair, and hubby took a picture. My hand flew up under my chin and I posed. Pam said, has anyone tried it? I've done embroidery, Pam. Uh, I tried, what's it called? Tacking, or, and I don't think I have, Joshua, ever seen a 12 blade handheld fan before. Uh, Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle, Mr. Daryl. He's saying hello to Debbie Sue. Evie said, I did draw the self portrait. My chin is as big as my forehead. Oh my. Tie dye. I did do a lot of tie dye. Red said, I'm doing diamond painting and crocheting. That diamond painting looks pretty cool, Jennifer said, embroidery work is so beautiful, but I've never tried it. I did get a diorama to try. What's a diorama? Okay. Ninja says I'm going to learn diamond painting. Evie said, Red, I crocheted 3 scarves and a half a dozen blankets. You sure did, Evie. You were crocheting up a storm. And now you're painting up a storm. Both are creative. So, and I just, I don't know. I don't know about the crafty stuff. I just kind of lost the want to do that. Justin said, I can't even paint the town red, let alone paint a picture. Jennifer said, they are 3D scenes that you can put in bookshelves. They are lighted. I remember you talking about those. Yes. Joshua said the brand is called Jasu Life. Yeah, everyone's laughing about Justin. He can't even paint the town red, let alone paint a picture. Yeah, I've been wanting to paint on my kitchen. I can't even paint my kitchen. I can't seem to get the want to. So Red said, Justin, same here. Diamond painting is like color by number. LOL. Yeah. But is that what Yvonne does? Is the diamond paint? Justin said 10 points to me then. Yep, you get 10 points, Justin. Checks in the mail. It is for me. I don't know. I was reading it. Jisu Jisu Life. Jisu Life. I don't know. So anyway, Evie said Sally said she was going to diamond paint. Is that what Yvonne does? Isn't it? Mrs. G. Hey, Mrs. G. Chow. Where you been? No idea. Okay. I don't know either, but she does some sort of diamond paint where she has a little pin thing and she picks up the bead and then she sticks it into the deal, and maybe Red can tell me if that's what it is. So, oh, but yeah, I really think that tapping into your creative side is very, very healing and therapeutic. So that's it. That's it. Okay, Red. Thanks for telling me that. That's what I thought it was. And, that looks pretty good. Mrs. G said, sorry I'm late. Mister just got stung by a wasp under his foot, so you had to play nurse. Oh, Jennifer said, very healing. Joshua said, I want to know what the word, whatever it is, from Chinese to English, if someone can translate that. It does say life next to it. Yeah, I don't know. Justin said, I just love getting people feeling good in the heart and laughing. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. So, poor Mister. Yes. Poor Mister. Mrs. G saying hello to Paula, her bestie. Did you see? Oh no, if you've been attending the Mister, you didn't see her all her glasses. So Jennifer said laughter is good for the soul. Yes, it is. Maketh the heart merry, like a medicine, Bible says. So yes. And so any other questions about your reticular activating system? So Okay, Evie said, Jisoo Life is a powerful handheld fan with 5 speeds. That's what he's talking about. He said he got one of those that has 12 blades. Joshua said he got one of those. Mrs. G said, hi, Evie, and all of my amazing friends in the chat. Yes, there's a great group here tonight. I'm glad y'all joined me. Thank you for showing up. And has 5 speeds. Yep, that's what Evie said. It has 5 speeds. So, hi, Catherine. How are you? So it's officially fall there. Has it cooled off some? It's strange. We're going into spring. So Evie said she looked it up, Joshua. It has 5 speeds, but I don't know what the first part of that means. So Jennifer said a gift, the RAS is to help us in a positive way if we choose. That's right, Jennifer. But it can also, if you have, your neural pathways is the way it works. And it uses your neurotransmitters. But if you, like you say, nothing ever works out for me, then you will see evidence of that. And you are activating the RAS, but it's in a negative way. So you have to think about what does it say? Pay attention to what you pay attention to. And so you focus on positive stuff, and then you will see evidence of positive things. And that is that's the way it works. And this you can use it to fine tune that to bring more evidence by picking some object like heart-shaped rocks, feathers. Like I said, I picked a Volkswagen Beetle, and I see them everywhere. They're everywhere. And then my grandson gave me this one. He picked it out of the box and said, here, I picked this one for you. And I said, of course you did. So, it is. If you have an attitude of gratitude or you think of abundance, then you will see evidence of more things to be grateful for. And I've always heard you can't be hateful and grateful at the same time. Pam said, I try to tell my son this because he used to always saying he's cursed when things kept going wrong over and over. But that's, what is it that Mrs. G says all the time? That to call things that we don't see in it's scripture, and I keep thinking I'm going to look it up, but that goes either way. There's positive and negative to everything, and you can activate the reticular activating system negatively. And whatever you focus on, that's you will see evidence, and you will continue to put out that energy. And so you draw that energy matches energy, and you draw that energy to you. And it kind of, that's why if you can fine tune your reticular activating system, fine tune it to look for opportunities and evidence. That's why it's really great to write down goals and write down, things that you want in your life. And so, Catherine said, my thoughts create my reality. This is true. And where do your thoughts come from? Your belief system. Your thoughts and feelings come from what you believe. And your mind is so immensely powerful. I heard this the other day. There's this, I wrote it down. It's Norcebo. And they were doing this trial study, and this guy was in their study, and he'd been with his girlfriend for a while, thought they'd probably get married, and she broke up with him, and he got real depressed and decided to take all of his antidepressants. And after he took them and he started to feel funny, he decided that he didn't want to die. So he went next door and told his neighbor and said, "You need to take me to the ER." So he grabbed the pill bottle, off they went, and they get to the ER, and his heart rate's elevated, his blood pressure's dropped out. He told him he overdosed. He handed him the pill bottle, and the guy, they said, "Well, this just has this name and this phone number on it. That's all that's on this." And he said, "Well, I'm in a trial study for antidepressants." And so they called the number, and they went through all the process, and they looked him up, and he was taking the placebo. But his brain thought that he had taken pills that would kill him in an overdose, and his body reacted to that. That is how strong the brain, the mind body connection is. It's a study, it was a case report uh, in the General Hospital Psychiatric magazine about nocebo. And it, it's amazing. And they said, once they told him that he had the placebo and everything, in about 20 minutes, he had returned to, regular heart rate, his blood pressure had raised, all from his thinking. He believed that he had taken something that would kill him, and his body reacted. That stuff's amazing to me. In psychology, we hear about the woman that thought she was pregnant, and she had the hormones and the everything that would say she's pregnant, except she wasn't. um there it is. Miss G said it. Call those things. Well, I can't. Okay. All right, we're talking. They got the. Where is it? Sandra said, "Got to keep moving, guys. Have a great night." Bye, Sandra. Mrs. G said, "Call those things which be not as though they were." That's what this system does. Rosani said, "If only we could change or reverse these hard financial times in today's economy." Yes, ma'am. Prayer. Prayer. Catherine said, "I need this. I've gotten back to my old ways, not all the time." Justin said, "Mrs. G, you're my friend also." So, Pam said, "I have tried mightily, Jennifer. He doesn't listen too much. I say, though, to be honest, but one day it might make sense to him." Pam, that's the thing. I've heard that we can't help our own family members, but you can tell him, and he won't listen. And somebody can say, and he'll come home and say, "Mom, somebody told me this today, and it really meant something to me." And you go, "I've been telling you that for years." So that works with husbands, children, sometimes best friends. you just, it's like, hmm. Evie said, "God is in control and we will all be okay. If we leave the earth, we will be very happy, I promise." Joshua said, "Mine had a LED display on it." Red's giving Evie 100. Evie's telling Joshua, "It sounds super fancy." Okay, everyone's giving Evie 100s. So, um, Catherine said, "This is true indeed." Jennifer, Pam, sometimes those lessons take time to grow in the soul, isn't it? Oh, Evie said, right. Think about false pregnancy. Yeah, yeah. Rosani said, interesting. Catherine, isn't the mind and body an amazing thing? It certainly is, and the more that I study and learn and about the connection and how strong the mind is amazing. How it can run the body, or the body can run the mind. But I still think it all comes down to what you believe. So, um, hysterical pregnancy. Yeah. Hey, Evie, I was just thinking about the hysterical pregnancy. I didn't have one of those, but I got kind of hysterical after the baby was born. Catherine said, just like years ago, my sister had a stomach ulcer. Doctor operated, told her she would never be hungry again. She believed and was never hungry, became really skinny. Oh, huh. It's your beliefs. And, a lot of people won't change past the way they believe or see themselves. Um, Red said, this chat came at the right time for me. I'm really glad. Um, you're very welcome, Red. Thanks for showing up. I'll have to check you out. Check out your channel. You have a channel? Everyone go check out Retired Red. Evie said, Red isn't the support great here. We all need this. Thank you, Evie. I appreciate your support. I always have. Rosani, I have dreams where I'm awakened by my heart palpitating so fast. They can seem so real. Our subconscious is fascinating. This is true. Subconscious, and it's real funny. We're born, and that's all we have is our subconscious. We don't have a conscious mind. It's our subconscious, and it's all about survival. And whatever that's modeled or given to us in those first formative years, because really our foreconscious thought, begins to develop 4 or 5, where we some conscious thought, and it's not all about, you know, eating, pooping, sleeping, getting what we want type thing. But all that stuff gets programmed into our subconscious, and then it gets reinforced. So, you know, um, Catherine says, I'm off for a walk. Have a great evening, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thanks, Catherine, for popping in. Oh, Evie said, it's my show now. Fonda? I like that. Rhonda? Justin said, I'm going to make my lunch while still being on this live chat. Just call me the multitasker. Evie said, hi and bye, Catherine. Evie said, careful, Justin. Just said, oh, yeah, why is that, Lady Evie? Multitasking, just be careful. Jennifer said, sweet souls, I need to go. Have a blessed day. You too, Jennifer. Thanks for hopping on. Mrs. G. Rhonda, when you keep said red, I thought you were talking about nephew. Nope, it's not nephew. It's someone different, someone new that I've not met. And I have to write it down or I won't remember. Someone new here in our chat, Mrs. G. So at first I thought that I saw that come up. So bye, Jennifer. Evie said, Catherine said, sleep well. To Jennifer, Justin said, got it, noted. I'll be very careful, awesome lady. Retired Red said, yes, it's on this channel thanks to anyone that subs. Okay. Joshua said, Here's an interesting feature on mine, Evie. When the battery goes below 14%, when I plug it in, it was on speed 5 when I just plugged it in, and it goes down to speed 1. Joshua, you will never be without your fan. Just plug it in, Evie said. Kristen said, I subbed. Did you sub to Retired Red? Catherine, going to storms moving in, dealing with a nervous dog. Yeah, we're supposed to, well, we were supposed to get some storms, but I think maybe now they keep changing the weather. It was supposed to rain from Wednesday all the way through to Sunday. Now it's, I think, supposed to rain tomorrow only. So Kristen said, I did. So Pam said, love to you all. See you next time, Rhonda. I have to run. Yeah, I need to get off too. It's been over an hour. I want to thank everyone for coming in and spending a Wednesday evening with me. And it's right on time. It sounds like my husband and his dad are through with their Bible study. So it's time for me to wait. You need what answer? What answer, Evie? Debbie Sue said, have a good night, everyone. Wait. What answer do you need? What's the brain hack? Red. Oh, Red, are you still here? Evie wants to know if it's Retired Red 1009. Red and Retired 009. It's at Retired Red. At Retired Red. Mrs. G put it up there too. She subscribed to your channel. Yep, that's what it is. Do you see it, Evie? You don't see it. Can you not see it? So Retired Red, the handle is different. Bye, Rosani. It's his name. With the 1009. Look, if you look, Evie, on, see the little circles? It's a circle with the red R. That's what you look for when you go to look for their channel. No, there it is. Your favorite auntie did it for you. All right. Well, y'all have a good evening. Thanks again for coming in. And Evie, if you want, when this goes, I save the chat. You can go into my channel and go scroll down the chat and pick that up right there, and it will take you to the channel. Bye, Lori. Bye, Evie. Bye, Red. Thanks for coming in. Ninja, if you're still here, have a good evening. Thanks for all the support. Love y'all. Bye.